Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
Deep center, and goodbye. Wow. And this is hammered. Deep left center field. Tommy Pham, his second home run tonight. Pham, base hit. Extra bases. A pair of two-run homers, now standing up at third with a triple. It was his first multi-home run game. He's played in 43 in his career, and he shoots that down the right field line. Tommy Pham, back-to-back nights with a stand-up triple. This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball and a day game from Wrigley Field in Chicago. Game number one of a weekend set of three. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs playing meaningful baseball here in the month of September. The Cardinals with a 5-game lead over Pittsburgh. The lead over Chicago is extended to 7. Cardinals fresh off a sweep last night of the Milwaukee Brewers. Welcome to Cardinals baseball. Along with Pat Paris and Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Good matchup here today. Pair of right-handers. One a former Cardinal and Danny Herron, who was very good against St. Louis last time out. And the Cardinals counter with Lance Lynn.
Yeah, very interesting. These two were matched up in early September, and it was a good game for Danny Herron, not a good game for Lance Lynn. Danny Herron has allowed 31 home runs this year. That may come into play here today, and Lance Lynn is looking for his first win of the year against the Cubbies.
Always fun when you come to Wrigley Field on the north side of Chicago. The Cubs, the Cardinals playing meaningful baseball here in September. Tommy Pham is in the lineup. He's red hot. Baseball comes your way next. Rivalry, the Cubs and the Cardinals. You also think about recent history, Dusty Baker and Tony La Russa. Always fun.
Always fun. I tell you what, these two guys, they really did respect each other. Remember, Dusty played for Tony at the end of his career, and Tony said one of his regrets that he didn't make Dusty one of his coaches. But they were two fierce competitors, and when they were matched up against the Cardinals and the Cubs, it was fireworks all the time. Always combative, a little bit different now between Mike Matheny and Joe Madden. Matter of fact, Joe Madden made a comment in the paper today. He heard something about Clint Hurdle saying, well, we respect those guys, but we don't like them. And Madden didn't know where that came from. He goes, I really like Clint Hurdle. I like Mike Matheny.
So Joe Madden, Mike Matheny, Cubs, Cardinals. First pitch coming up from Wrigley on Fox Sports Midwest. AFN, the American Forces Network, broadcasting to the United States Armed Forces, serving around the world on land and on ships at sea. Welcome and enjoy baseball today. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. Overcast skies here on the north side of Chicago and Wrigley Field. Rain is in the forecast. Hopefully it stays away until later this evening. And along with Al Rabowski and Pat Paris, I'm Dan McLaughlin. It is muggy and 74 degrees here at historic Wrigley Field.
Always fun to come to Wrigley Field. And you got to say that the additions here, and you know, they are very, very nice. I mean, they're making things nicer than they were for the fans, for the players themselves, and even for the broadcasters with the video boards.
Matt Carpenter will lead it off, followed by Tommy Pham, and then Jason Hayward. Johnny Peralta, Stephen Piscotty, Colton Wong, Tony Cruz, his second consecutive start. Brandon Moss is at first base, couple of hits last night. Lance Lynn is on the mound. And that's a look at the bench and the options for Mike Matheny as we move forward in our broadcast today. The Cardinals are 92-54. They lead Chicago by 7 games. And Danny Herron making his 30th start of the year. And his record stands at 9-9, a year that began with the Miami Marlins. And he pitched very well against St. Louis at Busch Stadium last time we saw him.
Yeah, matter of fact, that was his start was the only one with the Cubs that he's pitched through the 7th inning. The only one that he didn't give up a run. and the only one that didn't allow a home run.
1 ball and 1 strike on Carpenter. Danny just celebrated his 35th birthday yesterday. 9th start with Chicago. Came from Miami for minor leaguers Ivan Pinheiro and Elliot Soto. 21 starts with Miami. That's lifted in the air. Pretty well hit. Fowler backing up on the track, just enough room to make the catch.
Well, we'll see about how this ballpark plays today. Danny Herron has allowed 31 home runs on the season, and there's a big difference throughout his career. When he allows a home run, he usually loses. 25 games under 500. When he does not serve up home runs, he usually wins.
When you come to Wrigley, one of the first things you do when you walk in the ballpark, look at the flags. Are they blowing out? Are they blowing in? Is it going left? Is it going right? For the most part, it's fairly still. We've been here at times when it's been ridiculous. Routine fly balls will fly out of here. Tommy Pham, what a series against Milwaukee. He's 7 for his last 12 with 3 home runs. Home run shy of the cycle yesterday. And he pops it out a mile high on the outfield grass. Starlin Castro, he's got it for out number 2. The Cubs defensively this afternoon. Kyle Schwarber is in left field. Dexter Fowler is in center, and Chris Coughlin is in right. Tommy La Stella, the former Brave, at third. Addison Russell at short. Castro at second base. Rizzo at first, and Miguel Montero is behind the plate. That's presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers.
Yeah, guys out of position all over the place, don't they?
He does it every game, Joe Madden. But it seems to work. Here's Jason Hayward. 11 for 29 on the road trip and batting .379. And there's a strike, 1-1. Chicago here at home, they played very well. 15 games above 500 in the friendly confines. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jason Hayward. The Cardinals on this trip through Cincinnati and Milwaukee, now here in Chicago as a team, have hit .248.
25 years of age, Danny Herron doesn't throw anywhere near as hard as when he first came up with the Cardinals.
He's always had that very good split finger.
I was a little surprised, though. I'm seeing that he's only throwing it a little more than 6% of the time. I would always associate that pitch a lot higher than that.
The 2-2. Fly ball into left. Kyle Schwarber. And a 1-2-3 inning for Danny Herron. Lance Lynn to the mound when we come back. Very good year. A look at the Cubs lineup. Schwarber to follow, then Coghlan, involved in the controversial slide on Jung Ho Kang yesterday. We'll talk about that momentarily. Then Rizzo, LaStella, Montero, Castro, Herron. So the pitcher batting 8th, and Addison Russell will bat 9th. And again for Joe Madden, a loaded bench just like for Mike Matheny. The lineup for the Cubs will face Lance Lynn. And down the stretch, these starts for Lynn and Martinez, very important when you start thinking about the postseason roster.
Yeah, you don't need 5 starters for postseason, so somebody could end up in the bullpen, somebody could end up short. But Lance Lynn, his last 5 starts are pretty solid, except for that one start against the Cubs. Normally pitches extremely well in September coming into this year. He had a 248 career average in September.
1 ball, 1 strike on Dexter Fowler, riding a 9-game hitting streak. He's had a good year. Ranks 3rd in the National League, tops on the Cubs in runs scored with 95. And since the All-Star break, he's hitting close to 300.
I always thought he was a pretty good ball player, but then now you surround him with a lot more talent, and I think you're starting to get his best.
I always liked him too.
Yeah.
Could run, covers a lot of ground, switch hitter, gets on base. On base percentage over 400 since the All-Star break. Here's a 1-2. This will be interesting for the outfielders of the Cardinals. 2 youngsters out there that are not used to Wrigley Field as that pitch just missed. Stephen Piscotty in left and Tommy Pham in center. You think about the ivy and the brick walls and the wind. This pitch has popped up, and that'll find the seats out of play. This can be a tough place to play defensively.
It can be, and yet if you let it get in your mind, you're going to have problems. But if you go out there and you're confident in your own ability and don't dwell on it so much. Of course, they did not have batting practice on the field with all the rain last night and a bad forecast, but that kind of is dissipated.
2-2 is hit sharply to short. There's Johnny Peralta. He makes the play over to Brandon Moss. And there's 1 away here in the bottom of the 1st. Behind Lance Lynn, Piscotty, Pham, and Hayward in the outfield. Carpenter, Peralta on the left side of the infield. Wong and Moss on the right side. Tony Cruz is behind the plate. That's presented by Dobbs. Mike Matheny saying before the game that his quote was, Yadier Molina is beat up. So physically beat up. We saw him take 4 at-bats 2 nights ago. He sits another day.
I think it also shows that Mike is not panic mode. You know, he's going to go out there and do what's best for his team. And obviously, Yadier Molina, one of the stars on this Cardinal ball club, but he is beat up and he needs a couple days off, and so be it. Even this is a big game, but we can still survive without him.
Here is Kyle Schwarber. Molina 4 strikeouts 2 nights ago. First time he had ever done that in his career. Speaking of catchers, Schwarber's in left field, but when he was drafted out of Middletown, Ohio, that's Reds country. He is a catcher. That's his natural position, but they want to get his bat in the lineup, keep Montero's bat in the lineup, so he can play either corner outfield position, and they've got him in left today.
Yeah, he'd love to get back there behind the plate, but more important to stay in the lineup, and his bat has kept him in that lineup.
And it's a walk. The Monday pitch, our snow. What can we expect from Lance Lynn, Al?
Well, you can expect about almost 90% fastballs. It's the 4-seamer, the sinker, the cutter. He just goes out there and attacks the strike zone. And in this ballpark, you know, you want to be a ground ball pitcher. So we saw the Cardinals hit 3 fly ball outs. It's something you don't want to have fly ball pitchers in this ballpark. And for the most part, Lance Lynn is a ground ball pitcher.
A controversial play yesterday in Pittsburgh, the day game, as the Cubs took 3 of 4 over the Pirates. Jung Ho Kang is done for the year. It was Coghlan sliding in to break up a double play. Most around baseball, reading the reaction of those that saw it, or even those at the ballpark that saw it live, thought it was a clean slide.
And through Gung's agent. They issued a statement, and Gung also agreed with it. It was hard but totally legal play and no intent of injury.
And now Coughlin is down on that foul ball off his foot or knee. Man, that hurts.
Here's a National League Rookie of the Year that a lot of people don't remember. Won that with the Marlins back in 2009. And you'll see this one got him good. Said that Lance Lynn is a sinker ball, ground ball type pitcher. There's a good sinker right there.
Pounded into the ground or into the batter's foot, which is the case here for Coughlin.
He's been a real shot in the arm for the Cubs. Watch this ball right here. Opens up on it. Ooh, knee.
The inside of the knee.
Right.
Well, we had a couple of scary plays last night. One was with Jimmy Nelson, the pitcher, the line drive that Tommy Pham hit, and Nelson has sent out a couple of tweets saying that he feels good. It's a bruise. There's no fracture. So he spent the night in the hospital for observation. And then also with a fan that took a line drive off the bat of Holiday, and that fan apparently is okay too. That was scary.
A lot of apparently there was quite a bit of blood as that ball hit him in the face, the fan. Got a good story, right?
We also had a first pitch, if you didn't see it, that was thrown, and it was thrown wide, and it hit the in-house cameraman that was behind home plate, hit him in the face. But he was okay. He laughed it off. And Lynn falls behind here, 3-1, struggling to find his release point, it looks like, in the strike zone along with it.
Well, Lance is trying to remember what he did the first time. His first start of the year was here, April the 8th. In that game, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts.
And a ground ball that's tapped foul. Coughlin, as you mentioned, Al, a Rookie of the Year, and then was hurt at a celebration of a walk-off and missed considerable time and fought his way back health-wise, career-wise in the minor leagues. And now he's become a very durable player for the Cubs. He's in that lineup every day at some spot, infield, outfield. That's chopped foul into the Cardinals bullpen.
Yeah, another example. Coughlin of a guy that'll play in the infield and outfield, and as you said, he's made himself a good player in this talented team, and one of the unexpected ones.
Schwarber is your runner at first base. Not running, and the pitch is taken for a ball. Back-to-back walks, and that just invites trouble now with Anthony Rizzo stepping to the dish. Let's take a look at Al Hrabosky's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, the one thing is you want to make a statement with this ball game. First game of 3. They're 7 behind the Cardinals, so go out there. This is the most important one. You win this ball game right here, and it'll make the rest of the weekend a lot of fun. The power game's been a big part of the Cardinal offense. We saw that in Milwaukee. Why not carry it on right here in the friendly confines of Wrigley Field against a pitcher that has allowed 31 home runs on the year? Cardinals not necessarily a power hitting team, but they have hit more home runs than the Cubs in head-to-head matchups this year.
And a strike to Rizzo. A lot of talk around the Windy City about Anthony Rizzo being the MVP of a team that heads to postseason play. 30 home runs. He's driven in 92, batting .278. He'll get some votes. He'll be in the conversation. Most believe, though, it's Bryce Harper's to lose.
It's back-to-back 30-plus home run seasons for Rizzo. Second cut, left-handed hitting cut to do that. Number 1, Billy Williams. Did it 5 times. I don't care what the score was during the course of the game. I knew I was facing Billy Williams with the game on the line at some point in the ninth inning.
The Hall of Famer. Inside. Down the line, they have the flags of the Hall of Famers or famous people in Cubs history, and those flags very still at the moment. In center, it's blowing just a little bit out to right center field. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rizzo hits it out of play.
About the wind blowing last night when we got into town, and that was bussing from Milwaukee into Chicago. Big storms all the way east. But I was just on the 15th floor, but I had a whistle all night long in my room as the wind just whistling up against the windows. And the rain pelting it.
2 strikes on Rizzo as he stays alive. He's got a piece.
There's rain later in the forecast, but we should get this game in. And they say once it really starts raining, it's supposed to stop about mid-morning tomorrow.
So let's get it in.
Yeah.
22 pitches already for Lance Lynn, and he's recorded 1 out. Lackey was sensational yesterday, and he used the double play early. First 2 innings, he had inning-ending double plays as he hit the 200-inning plateau for the year.
And on him right there, and the top of the strike zone also. But Rizzo is really developed into an outstanding hitter, and now he can hit left-handed pitching also.
And the 1-2 pitch to Rizzo. Up the middle, base hit. Past the diving Colton Wong and into center field. 1-0 Chicago. As Rizzo drives in RBI number 93.
I would say the top 5 guys that are looked at the MVP, the stronger case for Rizzo because it looks like his team is going to postseason. You know, in one of the 5. And here he drives in the first run of the game. And you just can't walk people ahead of this offense that the Cubs have. They've got some thunder in their lineup.
That's the bottom line. Back-to-back walks, and you invite trouble. And so Rizzo makes it 1-0. Runners at first and third, and still only 1 out. And it brings in Tommy La Stella. There are 5 left-handers in a row in this lineup, so very well could see Lyons and Choate, Segrist used a lot in this weekend series.
But you have to have innings out of your starters. Starters set the tone for a ball game, and you just don't want to be playing catch up.
0-1 pitch. Hit the other way. That ball is fair. Into the corner. All the way to the wall. 1 run will score. They'll hold up Rizzo at third. La Stella with a double to make it 2-0 Chicago.
Stella had his first multi-hit game to the Cubs yesterday. Derek Lilliquist will come out and try to slow down Lance Lynn and change his fortune. But pitch away, good piece of hitting. Didn't try to do too much with it. Went with the pitch and lines it into the left field corner. Drives in a run, and with just 1 out, they'll stop Rizzo at third base. So runners both in scoring position against Lance Lynn. Not the start he was looking for.
Both walks have come around to score. Runners at second and third, and the infield in here in the first inning. Miguel Montero. And this guy is a dangerous hitter as well with 15 home runs. He's driven in 50, batting .248 this year. Lynn got the first man, then back-to-back walks. RBI single by Rizzo. And then an RBI double by La Stella. 1 out. First pitch is high.
So just pushing the ball. Getting underneath, a lot of times he'll spin off, and pushing the ball or getting underneath of it. Just want to get him back to driving towards home plate and throwing the pitch through the catcher, not to him, but through him.
And there is a difference.
Oh yeah, that's where you follow through. That's where you get the life on that little jump you get at the end of your pitch.
2 balls and no strikes. Lynn is accustomed to throwing a lot of pitches in an inning, a lot of pitches in a game, but I'm sure he did not envision 28 and counting here in the first.
No, and doesn't bode well if you go deep into a ball game. You say it all the time that the pitch count isn't as important with him. You see him now, he's fighting the umpire a little bit. Just asked where that was, said it was high. Right at the top of strike zone, but you're not going to get those close pitches down.
You have a very dangerous hitter who is swinging arguably the hottest bat in their lineup on deck, and that's Starlin Castro. The 3-0. He walked him. 3 walks in the inning. Bases loaded. In steps Castro. Rizzo with the RBI base hit. La Stella the double into the corner and left. Montero the walk. Bases loaded. 1 out. Starlin Castro. And he's hitting .359 since August 23rd.
But in the mindset of Lance Lynn, all right, bases are loaded. I'm going to get my double play now. I get out of here with just 2 runs down, a moral victory. And you can't allow them to get any more.
Cardinals will get a man up in the bullpen. That's Tyler Lyons, and it makes sense with all these lefties. And you need a long man, and certainly he could provide that if you have to go to the bullpen.
And I'm not suggesting this because I'm a big Tony Cruz fan. But one thing that does bother me, and I know young pitchers don't mean to do this, it's part of the way they try to explain how valuable Yadier Molina is, but they always talk about whatever he puts down they throw, but that means when you don't have him, they're not accustomed to thinking or pitching their game. Tony does a great job, and he's in all those meetings with Yadi and over how you want to pitch to guys, but you kind of lose that little crutch, and there is a vast difference in catcher's ERA between Tony and Yadi.
Base hit into center. La Stella had to wait to make sure it got through, and the bases remain loaded as a run scores, and now the ball gets away. As Lynn was not backing up home plate, he was standing in front of the plate.
And he's the one that deflected it away. And once again, like you said, pitchers have a responsibility to back up a base. It's not staying there as a cutoff man. So line drive up there, runner at second had to hold. Watch the throw come in. You want it low enough to where you can cut it off. It's low enough, way low enough. But you see where Lance Lynn deflects it away from Tony Cruz. He should be back where that ball is. Ends up on the warning track behind home plate, backing up the play.
Cardinals are lucky another run did not score. Now Danny Herron, the pitcher, batting 8th. And he rips it to third, and Carpenter makes the catch in a near double play to get out of the inning.
And Danny Herron is always a good hitting pitcher.
Former designated hitter in college at Pepperdine, and has swung the bat well in the major leagues when he's been in the National League. The 9th man to come to the plate will be Addison Russell as you get a look at Carpenter making that catch.
Infield in there, and of course you got pitcher up, but lucky that that was within reach for Carpenter at third.
2 outs, bases loaded. Strike 1 to Russell. 3-0 Chicago here in the first inning.
Cubs club feeling awfully good about themselves, and they're going after the Cardinals in the championship of the division. They're 7 back. Madden saying, hey, we're not just trying to get there as a wild card. We still have the Cardinals in our sights. They're 2 behind Pittsburgh now.
Pittsburgh will be on the West Coast later tonight. They've got the Dodgers. And Zach Greinke will make that start.
And then Kershaw tomorrow.
No balls, 2 strikes. Taken high, 1-2. So the Cubs have batted around here in the first. Lynn has walked 3 and allowed 3 base hits, 2 singles and a double. On 1-2. Strikes out Russell. 9 men come to the plate in the first against Lynn. 3-0 Chicago. On MLB.TV Premium, watch every out-of-market game live on more than 400 supported devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more. Visit MLB.TV today. A weekend series here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. A lot of fans from St. Louis have made the trek north. As Peralta skies one into center field. There's Dexter Fowler. 1 away. 4 up and 4 down to start the afternoon for Danny Aaron. The red and the cubby blue in the seats today. And relationships, Al, it could be on the rocks. One out and nobody on, and here's Stephen Piscotty.
Not as adventurous as I was in my younger days, but I always loved to go to those taverns in southern Illinois. Have a white line down the middle, Cub fans on one side, Cardinal fans on the other. The bragging rights, but this year, probably for a whole bunch, a lot of future years, these 2 franchises are going to be battling it out. The Cubs have arrived.
Probably a year ahead of schedule.
Yeah. But
they are here.
They started playing well and winning, so.
Off the glove of Rizzo. And Piscotty is aboard, the first base runner for the Cardinals.
Rizzo is a Gold Glove caliber first baseman, but he'll be the first one to tell you he should have made that and correctly scored an error. His 7th error. Here's
Colton Wong, who's hitting .267, a hard hit ball. One hopper and off the heel of the glove of Anthony Rizzo.
You notice how you talk about shifts, but we don't talk often about how with the right-handed batters, how Rizzo or these first basemen are playing so far over in the hole, and it really has made a big difference.
Makes it tough to get back to the bag, even on those types of plays. That's drilled into right center field. Piscotty off to the races. That ball all the way to the wall. Wong on his way to third. Cardinals get on the board, and this makes it 3-1. RBI triple, Colton Wong. That's how the Cardinals need to respond early enough that you can peck away, get back in this ball game. Cardinals need to make a mistake, but hey, you can jump out ahead, but can you stay there? And remember, with all the rain, the ball hits in a gap, hits that grass, it's going to take off, and it'll get to the ivy. Starting to see Wong drive the ball again. And that's good to see. Sometimes you worry about Colton Wong where he'll hit a home run or two, and then all of a sudden he gets kind of pull happy, tries to jump on it, but all of a sudden then you get back into good form and good habits and you spray the ball around. That's his fourth triple. Here's Tony Cruz with a runner at third and only one out. Outfield is straight away. Cruz hitting 180 this year with one home run, and he's driven in 6. His 57th RBI for Wong. That's one more than Hayward. Isn't that something? It's how you evaluate a player. The analytics folks will tell you how great of a player Jason Hayward is. The traditional folks that look at average home runs and RBIs say, well, he's not driving the ball or not driving in enough runs. Just how you value the player. And yet I saw recently rating of the top free agent players, and they had David Price as #1, but Hayward was #2 on that list. The most valuable potential free agents. Cruz chops it to short. A run will score. And Tony Cruz makes this a 3-2 game. Wong scores the second run in the inning and in the afternoon for St. Louis. We're not blown out, but it may be one of those games. As much as we respect Danny Herron, and we respect him a great deal, you should be able to score a fair share of runs, at least get on the board like the Cardinals have today. And he's not going to shut out many, even though he did it earlier against St. Louis. Shift is on here for Brandon Moss. And you're flirting with danger. The first 4 outs were all fly ball outs. 3 of them to the outfield. Start doing that in this ballpark, and you're just kind of asking for trouble with the long ball. Moss a couple of hits. He snapped an 0 for 24 last night. And he gets a base hit here. Extra bases. Fair inside the first base line. Brandon Moss trotting in with a double, and the tying run is in scoring position. Way to go, Brandon Moss. So at least you get Lance Lynn through the order. And if you take another look at this pitch, and just down in the middle, left-handed hitter, low ball hitter, gets it down in the right field corner, kicks off right here and goes right to Coughlin, and he gets it back in quickly. But Lance Lynn, prior to this year, you'd say, well, he's probably the final out of the inning, but he has 7 base hits this year, and he's helped his own cause. Maybe most improvement we've seen of any of the pitchers hitting. And Lynn sends a fly ball into center. Dexter Fowler is there. The Cardinals pick up 2. We've got a ball game midway through 2. The Cubs up by a run. Colton Wong, a shot into right center. His 4th triple this year, picks up an RBI to get the Cardinals going. as Colton Wong gets the Cardinals on the board, then scores a run. Let's check in with Pat Paris. Pat.
Well, Dan, last night, of course, the scary situation with the Tommy Pham line drive hitting Jimmy Nelson, the Brewers starter, in the head, and it caromed all the way to the tarp down the left field line. And after talking to Matt Carpenter, who was on third base, he said he started going back to third base. It was Jose Oquendo, the third base coach, that told him to go home, go home. Tommy Pham stopped halfway to first base. It was Chris Maloney, the first base coach, who told him to go two. And then Chris Maloney told me today that that's when they could stop after they got the base runners to where they were supposed to go and then focus on what happened to Jimmy Nelson. And fortunately, Jimmy Nelson is doing just fine. In fact, he tweeted out a couple of times last night, thanks for the support of all the baseball fraternity. And that's the nice news about this is, we saw some real human emotions about one of their brethren that was down on the ground, and he got up and he's going to be fine.
Great news. Scary situation. Top of the lineup, and here is Dexter Fowler. He chops one high to Lynn, who steps and throws and makes the play. Let's see if he settles in after a rocky start.
He'd be thankful that his teammates got him back in this ball game. Now it's up to him to go out there and keep the Cubs down. And let's see if his mannerisms on the mound look a little more aggressive and go out there in attack mode.
You can look for all the different types of reasons as to why a guy struggles, but when you walk three, that's on you.
Yep.
Period. And that's on Lance Lynn, and 2 of the 3 walks came around to score.
My belief is that as long as you're physically sound, don't have a physical problem, and Lance does not, walks are just a byproduct of lack of concentration.
I think what's been disturbing, and Joe Madden has picked up on this clearly, is his ineffectiveness recently against left-handed batters. He's got 5 in a row in this lineup today, and Lynn has been falling behind here this afternoon. But again, let's see if he settles in as Schwarber rips that foul. That's part of pitching too. You can have a rocky start, and then all of a sudden you settle in and
that's
get
it.
yourself a game.
Absolutely. And you think about Lance, he's pretty simple. 90% fastball, so it's not like it's a breaking ball that he can't get over. Fastball should be the easiest pitch to locate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We also saw the mannerisms too. He was slow to the plate, walking around the mound. When he's right, he's not like that. It usually gets the ball, and it's not a quick pace, but it is quicker than what we saw in the first inning. Here's a 1-2 pitch. In on the hands and into the seats. The fan says he's all right. Won't be able to write his name for the next 2 years, but other than that, he's got a souvenir. Here's a 1-2. Jason Hayward deep in right field, big gap in right center. They talk about Schwarber and tremendous power the opposite way. That will make it to the roof here at Wrigley Field. There are some in the Reds fan base that are very frustrated that this kid got away. Grew up a Reds fan, Reds country. The Cubs drafted him, and they knew he was coming, but they didn't anticipate that he'd be here this year. Got called up early, just for a brief period of time, and really made a statement. Then he played in the Futures game and was a standout in the Futures game for the All-Star game. And then when they couldn't wait to get him back up here.
And it's a walk, so 4 here in the first 2 innings. Now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo using the hashtag MWDanaStrongFan. And you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. So Schwarber a pair of walks, and it brings in Cotton.
Coghlan's hit 11 of his last 15 games safely. With 344 on the road trip.
Saw him hit the deck on that foul ball his first at bat, hit off his shin or the inner portion of his knee. Eventually walked and scored. That's up and in. Cruz the pickoff and back in safely is Schwarber.
It says trying to get be a little more effective on these lefties, and when he misses, if he misses, he's going to make sure he misses in and not in the middle of the plate. You got to pitch ahead in the count.
The 2-0. 2 balls and 1 strike. Wrigley Field is filled up here at the ballpark. Day baseball on this Friday afternoon. And it is packed and always fun between these two teams, the Cardinals and the Cubs, in a weekend series.
You see the Cardinals and Cubs playing meaningful games late September. That's a thing of beauty. And that's something we're going to see for quite a while now.
The 2-1. I think what's interesting is how the Cubs did this. Clearly drafted well. But you look at the man on deck and they said, all right, let's build around this guy that we know. Anthony Rizzo, that had been with Boston and San Diego. As a young Rizzo fan. 3-1 pitch. Could be 2. Wong spins. That's out number 1. Out number 2 on the double play. Inning-ending double play. And watch out, Cole Wong playing with confidence here today. Could be a big afternoon. Any size drink, just 50 cents the next day. That's coffee, fountain, or frozen drinks. When they score, you pour. At your nearest On the Run, you earned it. The Cubs trotting in from their bullpen, and that's why we had a little stoppage in play. The hesitation from Herron. Nature calls.
Does happen.
And a strike to Matt Carpenter, who flied out to center first time up. Very good shot that Carpenter leads this club before the season is through in home runs and RBIs. can add doubles, on base percentage, walks to that.
23 home runs, 75 RBIs, 38 doubles.
And an 0-2. Danny Herron, the Mark Mulder deal. Danny pitched in the World Series for the Cardinals against Boston in 2004. As Carpenter fouls it back.
I was going to talk about Rizzo and a little bit that you were alluding to, but you just got to be careful. We thought Danny Herron, you and I, not to take words out of him, but we thought he was the best reliever the Cardinals had down the stretch and in that World Series.
I thought he should have made a start.
Yeah.
There's a high strike on Carpenter.
But when we try and go out and get an established major leaguer, remember Rizzo signed with Boston, and then he was just an A-ball player, A and AA player, and Boston wanted Adrian Gonzalez, so they got rid of a young player. But then when
Jed Hoyer
and Epstein were come over here to the Cubs, they wanted Rizzo back, and so they got Cashner for him. Gave up Cashner.
Look at that, Addison Russell. Wow, what a play! He's going to be some kind of player. Already known for his glove, and they feel that his bat is now starting to catch up, and he's, with his presence defensively, shifted Castro to second base. This is a really good play.
And then also think about this. They knew this young man was going to be an outstanding player at the major league level, but win. And the timetable got moved up on him this year. But just think of how costly that deal was for the A's, as they have nothing to show for losing Russell.
And we talk about changing the culture of a team and, you know, adding pieces. The A's changed their entire look in a way a year ago. It's knocked down and Castro stays with it. We'll talk more about it when we come back. All the deals that they made. 1-2-3 go the Cardinals in the third. On the Cubs, then the American League Central leading Royals square off against the Tigers in a game you can only see on FS1. Coverage begins at 11:30 on Fox 6 on FS1, streaming live on Fox Sports Go. One thing we've already noticed here in this game is that Lynn has been all over the place against left-handed batters, and this has been a disturbing trend. As a matter of fact, You go back to his first start since the break, and he's had 12 since the All-Star break. They're hitting .352 against him. The on-base percentage is .438, and he has struggled in the strike zone against the lefties today. However, it is only 3-2.
And you'd like to think that he's just beginning to find that groove to where he can have that repeatable delivery and have command. See that he's worked inside to a lot of these left-handed batters, and sort of trying to make sure that he doesn't leave some over the plate is why he's following behind some of them in the first 2 innings.
Here's an 0-2. The check swing.
All 4 of his walks have been to left-handed batters. Can't locate that pitch down and away, and been able to come up and in on him, but when he tries to put him out away, he's out of the strike zone.
2 balls and 2 strikes. A 3-2. Well, you look at what the lefties have done today. He's only recorded 3 outs against the left-handed batters. Schwarber a pair of walks, Coghlan a walk, Rizzo, LaStella, both with base hits. Montero with a walk. So the lefties, you can understand why Joe Maddon would do it, giving him fits. 3-2 pitch.
He's kind of in a little bit of a bind right here too. You can see where he's got a 3-2 pitch. He can't throw a ball away to the lefties, and when he does try to pound inside, he's got to be perfect in there. You don't want to leave it over the middle of the plate, so and they're fouling off the ones that are are close.
3-2 is hit down the right field line. An extra base hit for Rizzo. On his way to second. He's 2 for 2, and the leadoff man is aboard.
And you know that almost 80 to 90% of the time you're going to get a fastball. He can cut it, he can sink it, he can ride it, 2 different things. But you keep on coming in there, and so you don't get in far enough. So they know that you're probably going to get another pitch on the inside part of the plate. And good hitters will make that adjustment.
Here's Tommy LaStella. So the question then would be, how do you improve against the lefties? What do you have to do if you're Lance Lynn?
Well, right now he's got to find that secondary pitch. He's got to find something that change up or something that he can throw down and away, or just even be able to spot that fastball, keep on going in, but have a pitch that you can throw away that's in the strike zone, or something that they will chase close enough that they'll chase. They've been so far out they don't even chase it.
That's fouled back and into the Cubs booth, and Jim DeShays with the catch. Reminds me of a year ago when I protected you in Milwaukee. I made that famous catch in the booth that I'm still suffering hand issues because of it. That's pulled foul. But I was happy to do it, Al, and that's what a good partner does. They protect each other, and I had to protect you.
And I went and got flowers for you, and I was so grateful.
As you should have been.
I mean, I was down on the floor. I was so scared.
I've never seen you move that quickly.
You saved my life.
Look at my hand since then. You can still see the Bud Selig signature on the palm of my hand. No big deal, though, Al. Happy to do it.
Thank you, Dan. Remind me again. I will let you save my life. Lions is back up.
The second time up now, you would think the leash is going to be fairly short for Lynn.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of think that Lance are going to figure it out or at least be able to get some guys out. But right now it's been a battle. Tony Cruz out to talk to him again. Wong will come in here to make sure if they change the signals that he's aware of it so he can relay that on to his shortstop. So they kind of have to make sometimes get moving on pitches that they know is going to be an off-speed pitch. Fastball, change their defensive alignment.
Hey, that's Ryan Dempster. He's here as a fan, it looks like, in the bleachers. (2013) is last year, and wearing a Let's Play 2 shirt, and he works now in the front office for the Cubs and obviously working hard.
He's a funny man.
He's great.
Did you ever save his life?
He didn't need it. But if the time came calling, I'd be there to protect him too, Al, with his
That's why
hands of steel.
Sure, we appreciate that too.
1-2 is slapped foul.
Costello got his RBI double by taking that outside pitch and hitting it into the left field corner. So
falls behind a number of these hitters here today. This time he goes to 2-2. Now he was ahead of Rizzo, fell behind, then had to come to him. Turned out to be a double. Stella has worked this to a 2-2 count. Rizzo, your runner at second. 3-2 Chicago here in the bottom of 3. Popped up. Carpenter with room makes the catch. That's a big out. So La Stella does not advance Rizzo, and it brings in Miguel Montero. The other thing you think about with the Cubs, not only is it a young nucleus of players, but with the renovations and this being a big market team, there's going to be money to spend. They could be big players in the free agency market too.
Big market, big television market. And I think this past offseason, I thought the biggest acquisition that they made was Joe Madden, bringing in a highly successful manager that is creative, does things in a little different way, but seems to be able to work very well and communicate with the younger players. They respond to him.
I think the key, what you said there, is the younger players. You know, you got to have a guy that doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, always positive, which he is, very even keel, keeps it loose.
It makes it fun for him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just some of the times they've had trips where one time left here, and I think they were out West Coast, and so they were coming back east, and it was going to be a very late arrival, so they all dressed in pajamas and onesies and got on the flight.
It was following the no-hitter of Jake Arrieta against the Dodgers.
That was, yeah, it was that game, and I'm not sure I want to be on that flight with them, but
oh, you'd fit right in.
They went to well, you aren't going to tell that story on me too, are
no
you?
no
Okay.
No,
you saved my life that night too. I'm sure. I don't know where you're going, but I'm sure you saved my life.
Well, there's a lot of times I think we've saved each other.
Yeah,
over the years.
Maybe true. But another flight where they wore sport coats and shorts, Bermuda shorts. Just different things to kind of ease it up.
They had lost 5 straight at one point. He brought in a magician.
Yes, New York.
Yep. So 2 strikeouts for Lance Lynn. Since July 28th, Arquilla in the driver's seat. It has been the play of the Chicago Cubs. The most wins in the National League with 33. Then the Mets have been on a tear after changing their lineup, in particular with Cespedes. Pittsburgh has been steady after the first month of the season. And the Cardinals have been pretty steady since day number 1.
And I like it all these clubs, they say they have the best record since a certain date. Well, the Cardinals can say we had the best record since day 1. And really, it only matters on day 162 where you are in the standings. Another thing that they did here in Chicago is they did bring in some veteran guys that are accustomed to winning. Jason Mott, Lester,
David Ross,
his catcher, who's been very, very important to a lot of these young kids. Even in Montero, just guys that can teach the young guys a little bit about winning too.
Miguel Montero, the second strikeout for Lance Lynn today, as you see him getting ready and putting the equipment on. So they'll deal with Danny Herron here, who lined out with the bases loaded his first time up to third. Runners at first and second with 2 outs. Lyons is just standing on the mound right now and playing easy catch. He is warm and loose if they need to go to the pin.
And Aaron hitting 140 this year with 5 RBIs, but 235 for his career.
Up the middle. Peralta gloves and flips to Wong. The Cubs strand 2. And we head to the 4th. 3-2 Chicago. Be beat. Fans can purchase tickets for just $5 to the Red Series, September 21st through the 23rd. And tickets are on sale now at cardinals.com/McDonald's. So Danny Herron has finished up his warm-up tosses as we get set for the 4th inning here at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Reminder that tomorrow's game is on locally in St. Louis, Channel 2. And Sunday we'll have it for you here on Fox Sports Midwest. Carlos Martinez and John Lester. That'll be a great matchup. Here's Johnny Peralta, fly to center, then Stephen Piscotty and Colton Wong. Peralta drills it out to deep right field. It's at the wall and caught. Coughlin just enough room in front of the ivy. It's been a while since we've seen a home run from Johnny Peralta. August 1st. That was against Colorado at home. Breaking ball drops in for a strike to Stephen Piscotty, who reached on an air by Rizzo and came around to score the triple by Wong.
Yeah, I think Peralta was one of those guys too that got worn into the ground. Had a couple days off, Saturday, Sunday, then the off day on Monday to kind of revitalize him. And he had his first couple RBIs in Milwaukee in a couple weeks.
Zach Roskup is getting loose, a left-hander for Chicago.
You kind of wonder about Danny Herron's health.
That was only pitch number 40.
Right, and Roskup started the inning with when Danny Herron went out there, so maybe just a precautionary. But Joe Madden, they are going to have a bullpen start tomorrow.
Well, sometimes, you know, these guys talking about a Joe Madden and Mike Matheny and Derek Lilliquist and Chris Bosio, they can just watch and see some of the at-bats the opposition is getting, and maybe it doesn't turn into runs or hits, but if they're getting hit hard, they get them out of there. In this case, Piscotty strikes out. There's Chris Bosio, the pitching coach for Chicago. Second strikeout for Herron.
And we talked all the good things about Madden coming over here, and kind of a tough call on Rick Renteria. You know, Rick Renteria, hard-working baseball man that had the helm and did a pretty good job last year, but then was let go once Madden became available. But Rick Renteria, we'd like to see and hope he'll get another shot someplace else.
Good baseball man, as you mentioned, well respected. Here's a 1-0. My understanding is he did have a couple of offers to go be a bench coach or roving instructor, and did not want to do that. He's still under contract with the Cubs, still being paid. As Wong sends a fly ball into left center. Fowler near the track. And a 1-2-3 for Danny Herron. He has sent down 7 in a row. 2015 postseason beginning October 6th. Just head to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule. Maybe the case here, Al, where both starters, Lynn and Herron, are on short leashes here today.
That's what we found out for the Cubs is Dan Herron maddened a lot of times with Herron and Hendricks, and Hamill will have that real short leash. So they got Ross Cup up, and you can see Tyler Lyons is stretching and getting ready to get on the mound for a third time behind Lance Lynn. You can do that with expanded rosters.
Sure.
But
Addison Russell is swinging a miss underway here in the bottom half of the fourth.
Also, the Cubs, as we mentioned, they're to be named later starter tomorrow, where they basically are saying it's going to be one of our guys out of the bullpen. I mean, we have Travis Wood and guys that they could bring up or pitch out of the bullpen that have been starting.
And a high fly ball lifted into right. Wood, though, had a long outing against Pittsburgh the other night. Michael Wacha will go for the Cardinals tomorrow. Martinez and Lester on Sunday. Something's not right with Lance Lynn. The medical team is out to visit with him.
He took that last pitch and kind of stretched his leg like a groin. I think this is the last pitch. I know it's the last pitch or two, but watch after he throws it. A little twist right there, and then he'll kind of. It was a pitch before that where he was on the mound and kind of raising the leg up. Indicate maybe something on the lower body.
Remember the knee and also the ankle issue that he dealt with in San Francisco, and you don't know if that's something that has flared up again. So we'll just have to wait and see. Lyons is ready.
We go back. Watch, this was the second to last pitch. Watch after he delivers it. And see that little jerk right there, but watch here. See, that's what I saw. Kind of lift that leg up and like a little impingement.
So he waves off the medical team, and it'll be the third time through the lineup now for Lynn. Fowler and Schwarber to go. So 6 lefties coming up in what could define the afternoon here for Lance Lynn. And the first pitch is taken low. Fowler 0 for 2. He's grounded out to short, grounded back to Lynn. Outfield is straight away and deep. And Lynn again staring back at the home plate umpire. It's Dan Bellino today. Lance has walked 5. One of those was intentional.
He hasn't been happy with the strike zone, but most of them he's questioning have been out of the strike zone.
The 2-0 pitch. And that's low. 3-0. Well, if he would walk him here, you just wonder if the Cardinals would say that's enough. And it's a combination of what would be his 6th walk and Lyons ready. And he's not feeling good. Something's not right.
Yeah, that's it. I agree with Mike coming out and getting right now. We got the end of the season, but Cardinals are going to postseason, and they got to protect all your guys. Get it taken care of now, and you won't have a problem.
Lynn is staring back to the home plate umpire as Mike Matheny was coming out. At the home plate umpire to hear the conversation, if you want to call it that, continue. Pretty one-sided conversation. So Lynn frustrated 6 walks, one of those intentional today. And now Tyler Lyons comes in here in the 4th with 1 out and a runner at first base. It's always intense when you come to Wrigley Field. Dusty, Tony, Madden, Matheny. It's just elevated. It doesn't matter if the 2 teams are in it or not. In this case, they are. Our Chevy called to the pen. 13th appearance for Tyler Lyons, who's been very effective coming out of the bullpen as opposed to a starter at this level.
He's done a nice job as a spot starter, but this is the role we like him in. Come in here and he can give you 3 or 4 solid innings, and as a starter it's kind of a challenge for him to go 5, but come in the middle of the game, he can restore order, and he's got a great opportunity here to pitch well.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Kyle Schwarber. Walked a couple of times against Lynn. For the Cubs, this has been a game of some missed opportunities here. And the bases loaded, 1 out, did not score. Runner at second in the 3rd with a leadoff double, did not score.
Yeah, I think this is more frustrating for the Cubs.
Ooh, he almost threw it away.
Tyler is 2-1 with an ERA just at 4. Made 7 starts. This is his 6th relief appearance.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Fouled back, and a good cut by Schwarber. Who knows if Kyle Schwarber starts the season with Chicago, he just may be the Rookie of the Year.
Chris Bryant's numbers are eye-popping. You're right. He's jumped up there real quickly and a bunch of damage.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Cardinals have turned a double play today. The breaking ball a little high. The 2-2 is hit the other way and foul.
There's another reason why we like him as a reliever. But we've seen him have an outstanding breaking ball. And late break really gives guys fits with it.
Runner goes, great jump. The throw to second and save. Schwarber called out on strikes, and Cruz made that close at second base.
Oh, he got a tremendous jump off of Lyons, and I thought Tony had no chance, but he made that very close, as you said. It's a 20th steal in 27 attempts for Fowler. And he is safe there, but a lot closer than, because he got a great jump.
And this will be it for Coghlan. Remember, he had the foul ball that was off his knee, and so he's out, and Austin Jackson will be the pinch hitter.
You kind of wondered how long would it take for the swelling and that ball around the knee to affect him. Austin Jackson, 15 games, see his numbers.
Had a good series against the Cardinals at Busch Stadium. And looks at a strike and a breaking ball from Lyons.
was acquired on August 31st from the Mariners. At 330, 10 doubles, 2 home runs, 15 runs scored in his last 33 games.
Here's the 0-1. When Lyons is right, it's his breaking ball that can be a tremendous pitch off the fastball. It can be very sharp and very tough on lefties. Here's a 1-1 pitch with a runner at second base. And he doesn't get that call. I think one of the things that Lynn was screaming about is, you got to give me one side of the plate, one or the other, but I got to get one. Two balls and 2 strikes.
That's a game that the pitcher and hitter play. The hitter can't protect both sides of the plate, so he can guard one side, but then you as a pitcher will know if it's inside that he's conscious of covering that plate there, you can get him out of the way.
The 2-2 in the dirt. Rizzo on deck. 2 outs. Runner at second. 3-2 the count.
And now with Jackson swinging the bat well, this could be just almost a platoon situation because Jackson does hit lefties better than righties.
The Cubs have received 7 walks in 3 2/3 today.
And it's a 1-run game.
Runners at first and second for Anthony Rizzo, who was 2 for 2 off of Lance Lynn. RBI back in the first was number 93. He doubled, left stranded in the third. With what's been going on here with Lynn in his last 4 to 5 starts, the question the Cardinals will have to be asking at this point, who's your number 4 in your rotation heading into the playoffs? Is he better suited in the bullpen if Martinez pitches like he did the other night? We know that Carlos can be a weapon in that pen. That's nothing new to Anthony Rizzo, among the league leaders in hit by pitch, and the bases are loaded for the second time for Chicago.
It's crazy how many times. I believe that is 24 times he's been hit by pitch. It's a breaking ball, and then he actually turns into it with his arm. Sorry, that leaves the league with his 28th, setting a franchise record.
So walk to Fowler, and that was it for Lynn. Lyons struck out Schwarber looking. Walked to Austin Jackson. Rizzo hit by the pitch, and now Tommy La Stella. The Lions wants a new baseball. Cruz out to visit. Well, this game has been a grind for the Cardinals.
See, hit by 28 pitches this year. Oblong 13. He doesn't mind being hit like that, a breaking ball, and you kind of lean into it a little bit. Just one pitch, get the double play. Not sure if you got 2 outs, but
a strike, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I'm not crazy what they're seeing from Lyons as stirring in the bullpen, and Seth Maness.
One and 2. Lions spot is due up third for the Cardinals. Looking ahead to the top of 5.
A lot of times you don't get that call when you miss so badly.
Here's a 1-2. Breaking ball and a little bit high. I will say this, and I'm not saying that it's an excuse, but on both sides, I think the strike zone has been tight. Just a tight zone today. But you deal with it.
As best you can.
The 2-2. LaStella hits a ground ball to second, and Wong is there. And the Cubs strand the bases loaded. Good work by Tyler Lyons. 3-2 after 4. Way. They've had the bases loaded a couple of times. They had a leadoff double, left the man stranded. They have stranded 8 through 4 innings, and yet the lead is 3-2. So the Cardinals still in this game despite the numbers I just gave. That may be it for Tyler Lyons, as Manus continues to throw in the Cardinals bullpen, and you wouldn't have him throw unless you were going to bring him in.
Exactly.
So Lynn is out, Lyons would be out, and here is Tony Cruz. Rosscup continues to throw in the Cubs bullpen, the lefty. Cardinals have stranded 1 runner, 8 for Chicago. The 1-1. And with Rosscup up and Herron's spot due up third for the Cubs, you get the feeling that this will be his final inning of work one way or another.
They say that very short leash for Danny Herron. And
Cruz with a high fly ball lifted out to left field. Kyle Schwarber under it, and there's one away. Well, they've got a man getting loose in their pen, but then you look and you notice that Dan Herron has set down 8 in a row.
Right. Tired the first 4, then they Piscotty Aaron got things going. Colt Wong drove him in with a triple, and Cruz had a ground out RBI, a double by Moss, and then now he's retired 8 in a row, and look who's on deck.
A high fly ball lifted down the right field line. This ball is off the wall. Brandon Moss with his second double. And look who's stepping in. That'll be Matt Holliday.
Moss got things going. Get a breaking ball, bending right in on him, and he gets underneath it. One hops the fence, and he comes up with a second double of this ball game. 22nd double for Moss in the year. How about Holiday? Saw him pinch hit last night. Good sign to see that came out of that all right. The bus trip to Chicago. Now see if you can't tie this game and give us some lead.
Runner at second is Moss, and Holiday is hit on the head.
That is a man you wouldn't want to make mad.
He'll step on first and then exit stage right as his day is through. Runners at first and second. And the home plate umpire now has warned both benches.
Ball just got away from the back of the helmet there. Still, you get hit in the head. It doesn't matter if it's supposed to be a breaking ball or not. You're not happy, especially if you've been out as long as bat has and working hard to get back. That'll be it for Danny Herron.
On the helmet, Zach Rosscup is in relief. And this is our Chevy call to the pen, his 31st appearance. He'll get Carpenter here. Tommy Pham on deck, a right-hander getting loose. That pitch taken high. Runners at first and second, and the home plate umpire has warned both benches. Lyons was a breaking ball that got away. Herron's a fastball that got away, and I don't think either one was intentional.
No.
So runners at first and second. Carpenter has fly to center and also was called out on strikes. Here's a 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes.
This is the third stint for Rosscup with Chicago. Latest time he was recalled on September 7th. Missed nearly 2 months, June 17th to August 14th with left shoulder inflammation.
The 2-0 pitch to Carpenter. Inside, and it's 3-0. So 3 balls, no strikes on Carpenter. Pham on deck, top of the lineup. It's combined to go 0 for 10. Carpenter, Pham, Hayward, Peralta, Piscotty. Matt trying to change that here. He'll take the walk, and the bases are loaded. Matt Carpenter is our BJC Healthcare difference maker. His career on-base percentage, this is since 1914. Sally Hemus, Ray Blades, then Matt Carpenter. This inning started with a flyout by Cruz to left. Brandon Moss a double into the corner in right. Holiday was hit by a pitch. Cosma came in to run for him. Carpenter draws the walk. First walk the Cardinals have been issued today. And now the base is loaded, and this may be the guy you want at the plate, the red-hot Tommy Pham. 1 out, base is loaded. Pham looks at a ball. And Roskup staring back into the home plate umpire. Looked to be a pretty good pitch. Now time is called, and Chris Bosio doesn't like what he's seeing.
Two of the better clubs in all of baseball, and they're not exactly putting on a clinic of how to pitch. The
umpires had a lot to do with that, though, I think, today. Yeah, that strike zone's been tight.
Fortunately, they are supposed to be the best in the world, too.
Well, here we are in the 5th, and we have had a combined 8 walks.
On 2 hit batters.
One ball, no strikes, with 1 out. The 1-1 to Tommy Pham. Drops in for a strike. 1-2. In the dirt, blocked by Montero.
Ball right out in front of the plate. Nice job right there to.
The 2-2 pitch to Pham. Pulled foul. Lefties hitting just .121 against Roskup this year. The righties .302.
You'd have to think these two have faced each other in the minor leagues, but no major league appearances.
The 2-2 pitch to Pham. In the dirt again, and a nice play by Montero. So 3-2, and the base is loaded. He walked him, and this game is tied. Tommy Pham picks up the RBI. Roskup has come in and walked 2. And it's a 3-3 game.
15th RBI for Tommy Pham.
And here is Hayward. Bases loaded, still only one out. For Roscup, this could be his final batter one way or another. With Peralta on deck and a right-hander loose in the Cubs pen. Outfield is deep. First pitch to Hayward. One is tapped foul, and it's 0-2.
13 relievers for the Cubs. I think they'll cover this game.
It's Wrigley Field. You never know. Two pitch, and Hayward strikes out. Big strikeout for Roscup. Joe Madden will go back to his pen. He'll bring in the righty to face Johnny Peralta with 2 outs and the bases loaded here in the top of the 5th. So as we stated, we thought this would be his last batter, and it is. We're tied up 3-3 at the top of 5. Walker will go against Cahill tomorrow. Michael is a 16-game winner, ERA just under 3. That'll be the Fox Saturday game of the week, and you'll see that tomorrow at noon. So Budweiser, what's on tap? So Tommy Hunter comes in, 16th appearance, ERA that's near 6. Chevy called to the pen, and the bases are loaded with 2 outs for Johnny Peralta. This ball game tied at 3.
Hunter was acquired on July 31st from Baltimore for outfielder Junior Lake. Made his Cubs debut August 1st in Milwaukee and recorded a save by retiring the 2 batters he faced.
First pitch to Peralta. Piscotty on deck if Johnny can extend the inning. It's a game that has seen the Cubs strand 8. The Cardinals now have the bases loaded. We're tied up at 3. The 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hunter got that save on his first appearance, but 14 games after that, he's allowed 8 earned runs in 12 2/3 innings.
Pulled foul. Manus is set to go for the bottom of this 5th inning. He's loose against Hunter over in the American League. Johnny was 1 for 11. This crowd will come alive again. Popped up, shallow right. The catch is made. Austin Jackson. October 24th, the Cardinals host the Brewers, and fans purchasing the special Billikens Night theme ticket receive an exclusive St. Louis U themed blue and white Cardinals cap. Get your tickets right now at cardinals.com/theme. So Seth Maness is into the game, the third pitcher used by Mike Matheny today. Lance Lynn with 3 1/3, Lions 2/3 of an inning, and now it's Seth Maness appearing in the 5th.
And you would think Seth would throw pitches in the strike zone. He has good command.
Montero, Castro, and Heron. Excuse me, the pitcher's spot, not Heron. There's a base hit to right. So Montero is aboard for the second time, a base hit, now a walk, and a strikeout in this game. Starlin Castro.
Of course, Bryant has gone to the on-deck circle behind Castro. See the big rookie slugger. Now that Mays has given up his base hit, it's time for the ground ball double play.
The pitch misses in. Runner at first is Miguel Montero. Castro today, a bases loaded single and an RBI and an intentional walk in the 3rd. In the air, deep left center field. We are tied no more. A long home run off the bat of Starlin Castro.
ball away. You see the ball just stays up and slides across to the inside part of the plate. Turns on it. Boy, was he sitting there admiring his home plate. The thing about Seth Maness, when he gets the ball down, he gets his ground balls. When he gets it up, he gets hit.
5-3 Chicago. And Soler will be the pinch hitter. 265 hitter this year, 7 home runs, dealt with a ankle injury for the better part of this second half, and that pitch is swung on and missed for strike one.
About some of the firepower, pull back Chris Bryant and bring up Soler. Just noticed last year that this kid can really swing the bat too.
Two balls and 1 strike. Two and two.
So it's getting in on him right underneath the hands.
And a strikeout of Soler for the first out here in the bottom of 5. Here's Addison Russell. It's a single, a home run. Strikeout of Soler. Russell takes a pitch low. Maness has been worked a ton this year. That misses in.
He had to know when they called him and told him to warm up, and he had plenty of time to warm up, but not accustomed to bringing in this early.
A fly ball into right center with plenty of room. Tommy Pham calling off Hayward to make the play. 2 outs. With 2 outs, we're back to the top of the lineup for the 4th time, and we're only in the 5th, and it's Dexter Fowler. 5-3 our score, along with Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Pat Perez is also with us. Miguel Sokolovich and Randy Choda. There's a strike.
A switch hitter, but really don't want to turn him around to the right side.
And the 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Schwarber on deck.
There's a switch hitter, but right-handed bats .325. Left-handed .233. So probably see Randy down though.
The Cubs have received 8 walks. Right-hander getting loose in the pen for Chicago, and Kyle Schwarber will be the hitter. certainly understand why you'd have Sokolovich up. His changeup can neutralize left-handers. His best pitch. And you have Randy Chode, who's coming in to get left-handers.
And he may be just strictly for Rizzo.
Joe Madden knows Randy Chode quite well from their time in Tampa Bay. You think about it too, Al. If you wanted to with Schwarber, if you brought in Chode, he could counter with Chris Bryant. If he wanted to do that.
Yeah, I mean, he could do anything. I would hope Major League Baseball would look at this box score and say, with all the walks in this game, maybe we ought to just check out the umpire strike zone.
The 2-1. Hit sharply to second base, and Wong makes the play. 2-run homer by Castro. Cubs back on top 5-3 after 5. Top of the 6th. Let's check in with Pat Perez.
Dan, you and Al earlier were talking about Yadier Molina getting a second straight day off. He's made 129 starts, 1,133 and 2/3 innings caught, tops among all major league catchers. Mike Matheny giving us a little insight into why the last 2 days have been off days for Yadier Molina. He said that they have regular conversations. There's some days he doesn't think that Yadi looks right. He tells him how he sees what he's doing. Yadi tells him how he feels, and they come up with a plan. And that plan yesterday and today was to give him some rest. And it's not necessarily things that we see. And, of course, 2 nights ago with the 4 strikeouts, that's easy to see. But with Mike Matheny having been a catcher and Yadi trusting him and Mike trusting Yadi, they come up with this plan. We haven't seen it all year, but this is the plan right now to back him off for these 2 days.
Well, makes sense, and get him ready for the postseason. Here's Stephen Piscotty. And the first pitch by Justin Grimm is taken low for a ball. The Cardinals have received 2 walks, both coming in the 5th. The Cubs have received 8. Here's a 1-0. In a 9-inning game, 8 walks. It's happened 3 times now. It was back in April. Also another time in June. And today here at Wrigley. The most in a game, 18 innings against the Mets, 13 in that ball game.
So 2 hit batters in this game, 1 for each side.
Also, Holiday was hit in the head. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Piscotty hits it sharply to short. Russell quickly up with it. Wow, what a play. That's the second really fine defensive play by Addison Russell this afternoon.
He came up, he was playing second base, but then they made the decision. Joe Maddon said, nope, this is my shortstop. It's his natural position. And I think that really helped the Cubs take off. For a while, Castro was being benched. And now he's getting a chance to play second, but you could tell who the superior shortstop is.
Does have an RBI triple that was early on in this game in the second. He's also flied out to left. Balls behind, no balls, 2 strikes.
He's only had 1 hit since the second inning. It was a double by Moss.
Grimm, the 4th pitcher used by Chicago. I was talking with Joe Maddon the other day in St. Louis, and he said this is the part of the game they're still trying to figure out. He said our young guys are starting to come of age, believe that we are a winning club, compete at this level. He said, but right now I'm still trying to figure out how to get to the 9th. What combination is going to be a combination I can rely on day in and day out to get to his closer.
And what really hurt was when Jason Mott went on the disabled list.
Yep. A 2-2 pitch to Wong in the dirt. The Cubs, when they come to St. Louis next year, there are no weekend home dates with the Chicago Cubs.
Seems criminal.
Three-two pitch. Wong, a swing and a miss.
Slider right on the top of it. They swing.
Mentioned last night, that's how they've been, the opposition getting Wong out, that breaking ball down and in, and they'll swing over the top of that a lot. The fastball, though, he's turned it around like he did in the first inning, or rather the second when he picked up the triple. Here's Tony Cruz. Good fastball at 96 from Grimm. Tony Cruz today has an RBI and a ground out back in the second. Also is flied out to left field. Here's an 0-1 pitch to Tony Cruz.
Grimm. Matt Garza deal. Deadline 2013.
And the 0-2 is hit out of play. Here's an 0-2, and that's taken high. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Just kind of wonder how many conversations Tony Cruz has had with a home plate umpire, staring ahead and trying to lobby for some of these pitches to be strikes. And
Cruz, a swing and a miss and a strikeout. And back back-to-back Ks for Justin Grimm. We have played 5.5. Cubs on top 5-3. Football coming up on Fox and Fox Sports 1. There are the matchups with Tulsa and Oklahoma beginning at 10:30. Then UTSA and Oklahoma State. It's all coming up tomorrow on a college football Saturday. Seth Maness, his second inning of work. Austin Jackson, Anthony Rizzo, and Tommy LaStella. And that's tapped foul. And it's no balls and 2 strikes.
Cishak and Schote warming up with the Cardinal bullpen.
And a base hit on an 0-2 pitch.
Be it for Maness as Mike will bring in Sims, Schote, or Rizzo.
So Randy Choate coming on. Seth Maness gave up the home run to give the Cubs a lead. It's 5-3. Home half of the 6th. Herron, De La Rosa, Kennedy, and Shields. And today, Danny Herron, no home runs allowed. DraftKings.com, use the promo code CARDS, and it'll be Randy Choate, the veteran left-hander, to face Anthony Rizzo, and this is our Chevy called to the pen.
And they've started to match up quite a bit now. This will be the first 15th time that Rizzo has faced Choate. He's 4 for 14 with 2 home runs, 7 RBIs.
Runner at first is Austin Jackson. It's cool a bit here at the ballpark. The wind has picked up slightly. It's been overcast the entire afternoon. Rain is in the forecast. With a check on the runner at first. You've got Cishek getting loose in the pen. We'll see how long that Mike Matheny wants to stay with Choate, with the Stella coming up. Hits from the left side, and Montero. Rizzo is 2 for 2 today. He's been on base 3 times. He was also hit by a pitch. We saw Choate face one batter last night in Milwaukee.
Sinkers in, sliders away.
And a 1-1 pitch. Rizzo gets underneath it and pops it up. Colton Wong on the outfield grass puts it away for the first out here in the home half of the 6th. They will pull back LaStella, and Chris Bryant will be the hitter. And that means Mike Matheny will go back to his bullpen. It's our Chevy called to the pen. His ERA at 3.47. He's pitched well for the Cardinals, the sidewinder. Overall, his 53rd appearance, split between Miami and St. Louis.
21st appearance with St. Louis, no record, with a 1.56 ERA. And opponents are batting 180 against him. He's never faced the rookie Bryant.
This is our Hyundai pitch arsenal for Steve Cishek.
A lot of sinkers, a lot of curveballs, but coming from this submarine angle, sidearm and everything, very deceptive.
Well, he could be the rookie of the year. Here's Chris Bryant. That pitch is taken low and outside. There's so much attention on Bryant, the spring that he had coming into this season, and he has not disappointed one bit. A lot of strikeouts, but great production. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 2-0 the count.
Trying to paint that outside corner down the way, just missing. Could have gone either way.
There's 2-1. You get that outside corner, you may get him to reach, and all of a sudden you got your ground ball and potential double play.
Well, it's also too, you saw that ball there kind of backed up a little bit. Sometimes a hitter will go across the plate trying to get that outside pitch, jam himself.
The 2-1. Runner goes. Ground ball left side. Carpenter, nice play on the short hop. So he does get the ground ball, but no double play. 2 outs. Miguel Montero has walked, struck out, and singled. Outfield shades him a bit to left center. 2 outs. Runner at second. That pitch taken for a ball. 5-3 Chicago. Jumped out to a 3-0 lead after the first inning. Cardinals came back with 2 in the second. And then a 2-run homer hit by Starlin Castro to break a 3-3 tie. Hit out of play.
Talk about with Cishek that a lot of times you think a guy that throws like he does knows that Cruz was almost to the mound. But they're real tough on the right-handed batters, but then on lefty you get a good look at the relief point and they have problems with it. That's not the case. Cishek does a real good job retiring the lefties out also.
Two balls and a strike. Finally set, and here comes a 3-2. 9 walks the Cubs have received today. AT&T U-verse rewind. Last time up, it was a 2-run homer for Starlin Castro, and he knew it. 3 RBIs on the day. That one off of Seth Maness. That's the AT&T U-verse rewind.
9th home run is 2 RBIs on that 2-run home run. He had an RBI earlier back in the first inning. Some pitchers might take exception to the way he stuck around the batter's box and admired that.
Some pitchers. What about this pitcher, Al Raboski?
Didn't hit it off me.
He's done it again. Long one into deep left field. Castro is having a day at the Cardinals' expense. This time a 3-run homer.
Both home run pitches were supposed to be away. They're on the inner part of the plate. He just turned on it.
6 RBIs this afternoon for Starlin Castro. Now it's Javier Baez. He laces a single in the left center. The Cubs starting to pour it on here in the middle innings. There's some talk that Castro, with his play, may not be on the postseason roster. That was in mid-August, and since that time, he has been on a tear. Now 10 home runs, 60 RBIs. Here's Addison Russell. That pitch taken inside. Russell not part of this hit parade. He's 0 for 3 today. Baez is running, and the pitch is fouled off of Cruz. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the 1-1. Cardinals have a right-hander throwing in the pen. Right-hander getting loose for the Cubs. Miguel Sokolovich. Pedro Strop. It's now 10 walks the Cubs have received.
About Cardinals making a statement. Cubs were listening.
So runners at first and second. Top of the lineup, Dexter Fowler will be coming to the dish here in the 6th inning for the 5th time today in a game that was started by Lance Lynn. Lynn went 3 1/3, 2/3 from Lyons. We saw Manus, Choate, now Cishek. Mike Matheny. Slow walk out to the mound. Miguel Sokolovich coming on, the right-hander with a very good changeup. We'll see him And a 1.71 ERA. It's our Chevy called to the pen. This will be the sixth pitcher used for the Cardinals and Mike Matheny in game one of this series. Starlin Castro with 6 RBIs to match his career high here today. Here's Dexter Fowler. Runners at first and second. Fowler has walked twice. He's 0 for 2.
What Mike Matheny envisioned for this game, Cardinals have already won the season series, but the Cubbies are starting to get the best of the Cardinals in the last few matchups. They had won 3 in a row coming into this game.
They are one of the hottest teams in baseball. It could be scary in postseason play. They could be within a game of Pittsburgh after the evening is through tonight on the West Coast. This place would be a madhouse for a one-game playoff against the Pirates potentially. It's not all said and done just yet. What a matchup that potentially could be, too. You'd have Jake Arrieta and Garrett Cole, potentially. Here's a 1-2 pitch.
Essentially, you have the Cardinals, Cubs, and Pirates. Cardinals division winners. The 2 wild card teams could be the Pirates and Cubs. That one-game playoff, and then that next series is going to be a heck of a doozy.
Change up again. Check swing did not go. Didn't get the call.
Pirates don't play particularly well on the road. The Cardinals and Cubs play very well on the road.
The Pirates do not play well within the division.
No, they don't.
That's what's cost them this year in the Central. They are 29 and 38. Here's a 3-2 pitch. Popped up, had him out in front. Moss is called off by Wong. The Cubs strand 2, but it is the Starlin Castro show here this afternoon with 6 RBIs. Fireworks night on Friday, September 25th. The Cardinals take on the Brewers a week from tonight. Stay in your seats after the game. Watch a fireworks display with the Gateway Arch as the backdrop. Get your tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Starlin Castro is out of the game now with his 6 RBIs, which matches a career high which he set in his major league debut. Baez stays in the game at second base to take over for Castro. Bryant stays in the game at third. And the new pitcher is Pedro Strop. We'll put a shift on here for Brandon Moss. A Chevy called to the pen, his 71st appearance. Moss, a good day, a couple of doubles. Addison Russell is your third baseman, who's your shortstop really, but in the third base spot.
And you put Bryant, the third baseman, short right field. Matt Belisle warming up for the Cardinals.
This is our Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. A strikeout of Brandon Moss. He quick pitched him. You saw him do that in St. Louis. Watch here. Ray Garcia will be the pinch hitter. One out and nobody on for Garcia. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. Garcia has proven to be a very good pinch hitter in limited time this year with the Cardinals. Leads the club in pinch hits. He's been up and down 3 different times.
He's gotten our attention as a pinch hitter. Now he has to keep it. So, what have you done for me lately?
It's a 2 Bryant and a bad hop. That ball into left field.
He's looking for what created that bad hop. So he's digging around, looking at the lip, the dirt, comes up here and spun. I get out of the way of it so he didn't get hit in the face.
Carpenter hitting for the 4th time today. He has walked, he has struck out, and also fly to center field. It's one of the hardest to double up in all of baseball. So 0 for 2 today. So we play in game 1 of this 3-game weekend series. Montero will visit with Pedro Strop. Here's a 2-0 pitch. The 2-1.
The trade that brought Strop and also Arrieta to the Cubs.
Great deal.
Got 2 international signing bonuses slot. Gave up Feldman, Clevenger. Arrieta failed to win his 20th game the other day, but he pitched well against Pittsburgh.
Here's a 2-2.
Trevor Cahill warming up.
And a swing and a miss by Carpenter. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Stroh.
Him over the top on off-speed pitch.
Pham a swing and a miss. He has an RBI walk with the bases loaded. Remember, in this game, the Cardinals had the chance to take the lead, and they had the bases loaded, only 1 out with Hayward up back in the 5th and could not score. Hayward struck out, Peralta popped out, and the threat was through as that backs up, but taken for a ball. Eight to 3 Chicago.
Pham got the base loaded walk to tie the game.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Cardinals have struck out 7 times today. The pitching has allowed 10 walks. The 2-2. Pham, a ground ball that's hit to short. Russell to second. And it's time to stretch here at Wrigley. Field.
Chicago, Lance Lynn started this ball game. Look at the 6 walks. Just didn't have it. Colton Wong drove in the first run for the Redbirds with a triple, an RBI. Danny Herron was their pitcher. He was on the ropes all the way through, but Starling Castro, 3 for 3, 2 home runs, ties his career high with 6 RBIs. Matt Belisle will take over here. Saw him in Cincinnati, and it had been a while. Came off the disabled list, had his first appearance since June 25th. He missed 68 games with that right elbow strain. This will be his 32nd appearance, 1-1, 2.90 ERA. That was, I think we could probably say, was projected to be the 7th inning guy. Jordan Walden was to be the 9th or the 8th inning man, set up guys for Trevor Rosenthal, and because of injury, Walden has missed 5 months, a couple months for Belisle. But important outings for him to try and get back and see if he can make it. He's falling behind 3-0. Good story in a bad way is the Cardinals have walked 10 and hit a batter today. Comes all the way back to a full count.
Nice workout. 3-2.
Did you go out and save somebody's life out on the street?
No.
Oh, okay.
Strikeout to start the inning for Matt Belisle. You've been waiting for this all afternoon long. It's the Data Strong fan of the game photo. And why not? Fredbird is in there. Presented by T-Mobile. So Schwarber strikes out. He's 0 for 3. Here's Austin Jackson.
Aren't they happy they put that extra makeup on today for this Cardinal victory?
Well, they'll be the talk of Rush Street. Larry Pacheco is in the house today. Oh wait, he was with the other crew. Isn't that nice? All you need is that to get up from Ed Cedar.
We could laugh about this one.
Here's a 3-2 to Jackson. That's it out of play. Ground ball hit to short. Peralta.
See Matt back there and having success. Never really experienced any elbow issues and everything. And how old you are the first time it happens to you. It worries you. You think something is going to be the end of my career.
Yeah, talking with Matt, he said it definitely scared him. It was something that, as you mentioned, it's not been a part of his career, arm issues. And Rizzo's hit by the pitch. Belisle has been thrown out. Sets the stage for an interesting weekend.
Oh, it doesn't.
Holiday, if you're just joining us, was hit in the head earlier. Now Rizzo hit by that pitch, and Mike Matheny has been ejected as well because both benches were warned earlier today. Hey, it's the Cubs and Cardinals. We come to expect it. It's the second time that Rizzo's been hit.
Glanced off the back of his knee, and lucky it's there in the lower extremities.
Well, if this is a purpose pitch, which it very well could have been, that's how it's done if you're going to do it. You don't throw it at his head. You don't throw it up in the shoulder area. So Belisle is ejected along with Mike Matheny.
Tuivailala will take over for the mound.
So Sam and Tuivailala is coming on for St. Louis. This will be the 32nd pitcher used today. So Chevy called to the pen, Sam Tuivailala, 13th appearance for the hard-throwing right-hander of the Cardinals. And here is Chris Bryant. The first pitch is pulled foul into the camera well. That's strike one. Second plate appearance for Bryant. He dent the camera? Looks like he did. Earlier this year, their previous homestand, he put one off the scoreboard here at Wrigley Field.
What would that lens cost?
It's a good question for the truck. You know that Brian McCann and Danny Martinez and Tom Mead, they don't miss a beat on those kind of things, and they worry about that. And that's something that'll be front and center in their conversation at dinner tonight.
What would the lens cost? $75,000.
Is that a game check for UL?
Warm-up pitches.
Oh, really?
You don't get 84 million tweets, followers, for nothing.
Stolen base for Rizzo.
Rizzo was upset that time he got hit. The first time when he dipped his shoulder into it,
for the 28th time, wasn't so concerned with it.
Yeah, the one that he tried to get out of the way of. Rizzo will lean into a lot of pitches. It's part of his game. Hangs out over the middle of the plate.
Well, if you do that, why are you upset when you get hit? And it was a glancing blow.
Bryant, a swing and a miss, and that will send us to inning number 8. 8-3 Chicago. Bomarito Sports Update. Jimmy, thanks. Fernando Rodney takes over in our Chevy call to the pen. Rodney, his 9th appearance wearing the Cubs uniform.
He was acquired from Seattle on August 27th. He's allowed 1 run in 8 games for Chicago. He's got a win, a hold, and a blown save. He's 5-5, 16 saves, 5.68 ERA for Seattle. Last year he led the majors with 48 saves.
Rodney was good in 1 game against the Cardinals, 1-2-3 in the 8th of a win in game 2 of a 3-game set in St. Louis. And then the next day, it was a huge hit by Steven Piscotty, one of the biggest hits of the year, to put the Cardinals on top in game 3 late. And a game that eventually St. Louis won. First pitch taken inside by Jason Hayward. We'll see the carryover, if there is one, with Rizzo being thrown at. Here's a 1-0. Two balls and no strikes.
The problem with right now at this time of year and the teams that are more than likely both going to postseason, you don't want to do something where you end up getting yourself suspended. I know it's become vogue to retaliate right away, or old school, and you carry over, even if you had to carry over for a year or two, but you eventually even the score, so to speak.
And a leadoff walk to Jason Hayward. Now what the Cubs are looking for with a 5-run lead and a leadoff walk. Cardinals will take it, and Johnny Peralta will be the hitter.
Make a little statement here.
Peralta bounces into a double play. Out at second. Out at first in the double play.
Russell's quick to shortstop, getting that ball to his second baseman. Baez kind of hanging in at the bag. Get himself hurt that way.
First pitch, a ball to Stephen Piscotty.
Piscotty said a little dry spell. Need to get him going again. For his last 13.
One ball and 2 strikes. Scotty hits it sharply to second base and handled by Baez. Weiser. Make a plan to make it home. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. 8-3 Chicago, bottom of 8 rolls in. Miguel Montero will lead it off. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. Tui Malala get the final out in the bottom of the 7th after Belisle was ejected. They're hitting Anthony Rizzo. And the 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Jake Arrieta certainly in the conversation for the Cy Young Award.
He's in major leagues and wins 19. We will miss him this series.
What a story.
You know, when he first came over to Baltimore, he just got the Cardinals out. He wasn't getting many others out. Now he's getting everybody out.
It's pulled foul and out of play. It was really a guy that hadn't done much with Baltimore and then picked up by the Cubs. It has clicked obviously this year. As you mentioned earlier, one of the guys that could be a factor here down the stretch, Jason Mott, who is slowly but surely coming back in an injury with his arm. I was talking with Jason in St. Louis. He loves it here. Really enjoying his experience with the Cubs. Got dark here at the ballpark around 4:30 here Central Time in Chicago.
Supposed to start rain at 5 o'clock and then rain till about sometime early 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well, Pat Paris, we saw that Matt Holliday was hit on the head earlier. It's about a 86, 87 mile an hour fastball from Dan Herron. What's his status? What's the update?
Well, of course, he had to go through the concussion protocol. They did the test, and everything came out negative. So no problems, no issues with the concussion to this point for Matt Holliday. And you saw him. He tried it down to first base and then made the right turn and went right into the Cardinal dugout. But everything's okay with Matt Holliday. But it did kind of set in motion some interesting things this afternoon, didn't it?
It certainly has. Here is DeNorfia. 2 balls and no strikes. The Cubs would be 6 games behind St. Louis if they win this ball game today. Pittsburgh could pull to within 5 of a win. Cubs could be within a game of Pittsburgh, depending on what happens with their ball game tonight in Los Angeles. Dodgers lead the West by 7.5. This could have been an official clinch day for the Cardinals too. The Giants loss and the Cardinals win would have put them in the postseason. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Pretty lucky with the 11 walks and 2 hit batters today. Only 3 of them have scored so far.
Here's Javier Baez, 1 for 1 today. Play behind the runner with this big lead. It's one thing we saw at the end of last year, a lot with Baez swinging through a lot of pitches, tons of strikeouts, but Cubs feel he's going to be a tremendous player.
Got power, but he's, like you said, a ton of strikeouts. has hit .324 with 13 home runs in just 70 games with Iowa. And in 8 of his last 10 games here at the big league level. Lieutenant Mitch Harris is warming up with the Cardinals.
3-2 pitch, and on his hands and fouled back.
On Forces Radio, I wonder how many ships at sea or sailors that been under Mitch's command or who sailed with him. Had 5 years of active duty in the United States Navy after he signed from Annapolis.
Strikeout of Baez. Taken a little bit low by Addison Russell.
Yeah, look at Russell. He just looks like a nice, clean-cut player. Got a lot of talent. Just an exceptional young man. Pretty good right now, but he's going to get better and better.
One ball, one strike. Ground ball and a base hit. So as Pat said, Matt Holliday went through the protocol, making sure he does not have a concussion. Extends the inning to the top of the lineup in Dexter Fowler. Russell on board for the second time. Go along with a walk and now a hit. Fowler, a pair of walks today.
Good thing these umpires only have 2 decisions.
I'm saying why, you know, the reason why the Cardinals may lose today. I'm not saying it's the strike zone, but I think we would agree it's been tight this afternoon.
Well, not only is it tight, but a lot of pitches that have been strikes have been called balls, and ones that are balls have been called strikes. But the one thing you got to look at, they've only walked 2. We've walked 11.
The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball hit to the right side. Tuivalu makes a very nice play. Former infielder, now a pitcher. Some athleticism on this play. Low throw by Moss. We head to the ninth. It's 8-3. Look at all the highlights and stats from around Major League Baseball. And we'll take a look at what happened with Matt Holliday. All that coming up on the postgame show. Neil Ramirez. He has to get the final 3 outs in this contest. Chevy called to the pen. 14th appearance for Ramirez. ERA of 3.12.
Had some time on the DL, but I thought first time I saw him a couple of years ago that this kid had a very good arm.
Colt Long has an RBI triple today. That was back in the 2nd inning. He'll lead it off, and the first pitch is taken for a strike. We're underway, 9th inning. We'll award the hundo coming up in the postgame show.
Commenting. Short night last night, coming in from Milwaukee by bus. The day game today, and this really didn't transpire into the game we thought we were going to see.
What frustrates you from the Cardinals' perspective, the 5th inning, bases loaded, tie ball game. Hayward had to play with 1 out. He struck out. Then Peralta flied out, and the threat was through. And Castro has been the story today on the other side with 6 RBIs to match his career high. A liner into right, and the catch is made. So no surprise, our Budweiser player of the game is Starlin Castro. 6 RBIs. For Starlin, 3 for 3, couple of home runs, and our Budweiser player of the game. This would be win number 86 for Chicago. The Cardinals would drop to 92 and 55.
kind of when you thought you had a good turn all the way through the rotation and start to iron things out, all of a sudden you have a clunker by Lance Lynn today. And walks definitely got him in trouble.
Be interesting to hear his take on the strike zone today. Lynn, as a good pro usually does, will not use that as an excuse. Two strikes on Tony Cruz. Little surprised we didn't see any more reaction from Tony Cruz.
He's been back behind the plate when that pitch was called the ball, and now it's called a strike against him.
And the final hope for the Cardinals, Brandon Moss.
Like you said, you just hope Dan Molino doesn't go back and think that he had a good strike zone today.
Two outs, nobody on. Moss with a pair of doubles and a strikeout. Moss rips it into right field. That's a base hit. 3-hit day for Brandon Moss. 5 hits the last 2 games.
Yeah, that's hit. He was 0 for 23, 24, and broke out the last 2 games. Hopefully he can build something and carry over for a while. John Jay get a chance to extend this one.
So John Jay pinch hitting for Tui Balala. Rendon, the closer, getting loose for the Cubs. Cardinals down to their final strike. The 0-2.
I said it's a good thing these umpires only have 2 choices. Fair foul, ball strike, safe out.
On 1 and 2. Jay pulls it foul. The 2-2.
Keep on going.
Game over.
Frustrating game, Danny.